Okay. I'm gonna strike this live up, give it a few minutes, take my morning walk. Y'all can take my morning walk with me. I haven't done this in quite some time, actually, my morning walk. And whilst I'm doing my morning walk, when I finish, I'm gonna go back up and actually get back to work. Because that's what this is about. So, let me give y'all some let roll in, all that good stuff. Blah, say, blah, yakety, schmacky. It's Sherry Fella, the All-Star Advisor Alonzo Hall, your social media insurance broker, returning today to wipe and tap on your head with another ADH Wealth solution. Today, we're going to talk about a bunch of you brothers who are you quasi-Trump supporters who ought to be very happy today. And the reason I say quasi is because the only reason a lot of you guys were Trump supporters is because it was the quote unquote unpopular thing to do in the black community. See, y'all motherfuckers wasn't right leaning when Obama ran. I was. I voted for Mitt Romney. Why? Because I understand what it means to be a fucking registered independent. It means that you vote for whoever is going to put something in place that benefits you. Good morning, Miss Phoenix. How you doing? But a lot of you brothers were quasi motherfucking quasi Republicans and quasi Trump supporters because you were all this fucking red pill bullshit. The same bullshit that got you niggas paying $1,500 for a dude to tell you how to sleep with two women, but you won't pay a fucking consult fee with me, a licensed financial professional, to teach how to get your money in order. Yet you talk this dumb shit about wanting generational wealth. So, like I said, Trump won. So the fuck what? You still got to go back to work in the morning. If Harris won, guess what? So the fuck what? You still got to go back to work in the morning, especially as black Americans, because all we do is this kumbaya voting bullshit, and we don't actually put our dollars behind the causes, right? What do? We sit here and we go, oh, vote for this one, vote for that one. Guess what? It doesn't matter who particularly is in office, because as most black Americans, we're not going to get shit. You know why we're not going to get shit? Because we ask for tangibles or no vote. You know what that's like? That's like going to the restaurant and saying, I want food, and then not actually asking for anything. So you're going to get nothing. What's up, Kay? How you doing today, brother? So again, until we do something like a lot of other cultures and create a super PAC, meaning we come together collectively, put our dollars up. We have this big sector of money, and we know you want this big sector of money. You need to do this for us and give us our cause, or you're gonna get not our vote. Kind of like I did here in New Haven when Mayor Elliker was running and Mayor and Mr. Tom Goldenberg was running. What did I say to Mr. Goldenberg? Hey, listen, you want my vote? Well, I want something. You ain't getting my vote until I get something. And then I specified what I wanted because I'm in business. 2 weeks later, I got a call that had to do with my business. Well, he got my vote. He didn't just get my vote because, oh, the Trump train or, oh, the Kamala carousel. Fuck all that. Again, especially as black folk, we ain't getting shit until we create a super PAC. That's why Obama didn't do shit for us, because we didn't put our dollars behind it. You got to vote. Basically, y'all motherfuckers is buck dancing for whoever's going to be the better massa for you. You're all house niggas. But see, when I say shit like that, it's not popular. It's uncouth, right? We always do this. Oh, I'm not going to talk politics shit. Well, that's why we don't get shit and we don't know shit, right? Because again, we're just bug dancing for the best massa. No matter which one of them, we didn't put our dollars behind any cause. So they ain't going to do shit for us, whether it's Kamala or Trump. Neither one of them is going to do shit for the black community because we don't have no businesses. We got a bunch of motherfuckers running around talking about this my block. Oh, it is? Well, when's the last time you've had a mortgage, a business, or a fucking deed on that block? You don't, so it ain't yours because Hiram the Jew can come and take that shit from you. You might assault me for it, but you won't assault Hiram the Jew. So let's get off the high horse and give me three. Yeah. That's a card. So let's not assault me when you won't assault Hiram the Jew, right? We talk generational wealth. I talk to y'all shit about this, talk to y'all about this shit all the time. I might need to make a transfer. I might not have it. Let's see. All set. Let me get back to you. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. I'm in the store. I'm getting my bad habit stuff. Give me a light, please. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, Trump won. I'm kind of happy, but again, I'm pissed off because as a black American, it really don't mean shit for us. Like I said, we don't have businesses and all that. So, yeah, that's true. I'm going to. Thank you, boss. Thanks, brother. So again, and you know, I don't give a fuck about monetization on this channel because I use my social media as business, for business, not as business. So if I get demonetized or they strike copyright, I don't give a fuck about none of that. Because just like, you know, you got people like me, you got people like Kay, you got people like C Boogie, people like Diamond Dave. We use this for business, not as business. Yes, we'll advertise our business out there, but we don't give a fuck about being correct and into whatever the fuck the algorithm wants because we only use this as like a fucking business card. If I misplace my business card, you know what I do? I go back to fucking Staples and I buy more. Right? So, like I said, once I finish my morning walk, I'm going to bring y'all up on the computer with me and we're going to look at something called the internal rate of return because the conversations have been recently on a lot of these channels, suddenly politically, and people will say dumb shit like, I don't care what J-Lo has to say about politics. Oh, Kamala Harris used rappers. So did Donald Trump. Donald Trump used Lil Wayne and 50 Cent and all that. And FYI, I voted for Trump. But he fucked up some shit for me too. So the reality is, morning, brother. So the reality is, again, unless we're going to be running businesses and having true generational wealth and actually having something to go on, especially the presidential election, doesn't fucking matter for black Americans. Because we get nothing out of it either way. But that's because we put nothing into it. Dr. Claude Anderson has been saying for decades, if you want to make a difference politically, you have to have an economic power. Why do you think back in 2017, Donald Trump wrote the Hispanic Prosperity Initiative? Because Goya, a multi-billion-dollar company, said, hey, if you want us to consider giving you our votes, you need to give us something. But black folks say, hey, you want our vote, give us tangibles. And then we don't put a fucking dollar behind it. Why do you think Obama did nothing for us? Because we as black America did nothing for Obama. We didn't give him any dollars toward his campaign. We just went there and sang, oh, hallelujah, a nigga is gonna be in office. Let's buck dance and look like clowns. That's all the fuck we did. Right? Just like this election. All we did was buck dance and look like clowns. Because at the end of the day, again, nothing really happened. So like I said, Trump won. Who gives a fuck? You got to go to work in the morning, don't you? Yeah. So it really didn't matter. Because again, good morning. As black Americans, we don't put our dollars behind shit. Like I said, here in New Haven, Connecticut, the mayoral election, we had Tom Goldenberg versus Justin Elliker. Good morning. Well, I went to Tom Goldenberg's multi-$100 per plate dinner. You know how many motherfuckers who look like me were there? Me. And I know some black men who had businesses. Shit, one was my relative who had a business on my block. Didn't want to listen to me, even though my wife works for the fucking IRS and I work in financial services. Apparently, he knew it all. So apparently, next time I need a fucking fade with a part down the side, even though I'm not barber licensed, I know it all. I don't need his fucking services, apparently. Well, now I can't use his services because his business ain't there. But this is the idiocy of Black America. Sometimes it pisses me off to have to be a black man because I have to go into these realms of business and get looked at like Glocktavius because most of you fucking nignogs are dumb as shit. It's like you want to be slaves. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna hurt a whole bunch of feelings. You don't like it? Come see me. And you know my address. I put it all over the fucking internet. Now, are there some things that Donald Trump did and may do that will piss me off? Probably so. Just like last time he was in office, he shut the federal government down for 35 days in 2017. Not only was I in financial services in New York City at the time, but I was also selling real estate. Do you know how fucked up that was for me? That meant that because the federal government was shut down, we couldn't access things like tax transcripts. So without being able to access tax transcripts, I couldn't close on houses. That pissed me off. Again, but I vote in whatever's going to determine whoever does the best thing for me making my money, not, ooh, Democrats are the party for poor people. Republicans are racist. That's the stupidest premise ever. Fuck, I gotta go get a light. Chief, you got a lighter on you?
I'm coming right. I got you.
All right. Don't go buying one, man. Don't. Oh, okay. She, what's up, brother? So what happens is politically, we put ourselves behind the eight ball. Think about it. If you're saying that, quote unquote, the Democrats are the party for the poor people, why would you? What up, she? Oh, shit. He done caught me. Yeah, I'm having a tobacco stick. But Democrats being the party for the poor people, why would you want to be part of the party for the poor people? And then supposedly racist Republicans being racist, which is the dumbest thing ever, because everybody is racist, because everybody participates in, well, not all the time, but most people participate in, a form of race, right? It just is what it is. Now, if you'll say, have a good way, if you'll say they're bigots, that's a different story. But everybody participates in some form of racism, right? It just is what it is, right? But again, what happens is the elites understand that most people are regular emotional wrecks and they're able to be mind fucked. And so they mind fuck you, right? And so we get into a predicament where we are voting based on emotion as opposed to voting based on what we want. Prime example, in 2012, I voted for Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney was proposing privatization of Social Security. I was in, Miss Phoenix, I got to get you a wrench. He was promoting privatization of Social Security. I was on Wall Street selling life insurance for Mutual of Omaha at the time. That meant I was going to sell a shit ton more of retirement accounts. So that was something that I voted for Mitt Romney for. Fuck Obama at that point, because Obama wanted to bring in the Affordable Care Act. Well, that didn't help my pockets, right? We look at the tax proposal. Kamala Harris's tax proposal meant approximately $5,000 a year more for the working American. The problem is she was supposedly going to get these taxes from the ultra rich from earned income. Ultra rich people don't generally make most of their money from earned income. They make it from passive income, meaning investments, real estate, dividends, so on and so forth. And if they had a net worth of 100 million or more, they would be able to do what's called privatized. Like I showed y'all on that private placement life insurance. Like I'm going to show y'all when I take y'all upstairs and put y'all on the computer. Because I work in finance, I understand a lot of this shit. Right? And I don't just work in finance on the level that a lot of these motherfuckers who I help people fix their credit. You don't work in finance. I work at the bank. No, you're just a glorified cashier. You basically are a person who works at the cashier at McDonald's, but you have to wear a suit every day. That's all you are if you work at the fucking bank. Even if you work at private client. Because if you go to the bank right now and you ask the bank teller or even the private client banker, hey, what's BOLI? They won't even be able to tell you what that acronym is. BOLI is bank-owned life insurance. I showed you guys. Bank of America in 2019 put $6.1 billion into equity investments without readily determinable fair values. That means the stock market. They simultaneously put approximately $22 billion into BOLI, bank-owned life insurance, which is cash value life insurance. So they'll tell you, because you think that the rich get rich from the stock market. They don't go into the stock market for this thing called accretion, or what you would call going up or winning. That's called accretion, meaning that your balance increases or accretes, right? The wealthy go into the stock market for preservation of capital because they understand that $100,000 with a 3% annual inflation in 10 years, that spending power is cut down to 50,000. The balance sheet might look like it says 100,000, but it will only buy you $50,000 worth of goods and services. And from our last presidential campaign, we were at a substantially higher than 3% annual inflation rate. So these are all things that, again, keep us fucked. And like I said, black folks are the canary in the coal mine. If the white man is sick, the black man got AIDS. What's going on, brother? That's how much it affects the black community. And yet we sit here and, well, oh, you're voting for Trump. You must be racist. I'm going to go against you. That's the stupidest shit ever. That's what those so-called I don't believe in white supremacy. Because a true supremacist wants his opponent at his apex best and or with an advantage against him, so when he dominates, he can truly show his superiority. Which, if you look at it, black men, when we get into things and actually put our all into it, we generally have a disadvantage and our opponents with the apex best, and we dominate. So, what's going on, bro? There's the superiority there. Right? Or the supremacy, if you will. Right? But we don't insulate ourselves. There's no reason that my cousin's business should be shut down. All the people who want to, yeah, man, you ring bells showing them all this fake hood cred, street love, bullshit, didn't support with dollars. He says, that's like Tasha K lost 5,000 subs for voting for Trump. Yeah, that's ridiculous. She lost 5,000 subscribers for who she voted for. The problem is, again, the presidential election truly doesn't matter. All they are is a fucking puppet. It's just like we all have online, we have a picture of ourselves. It probably isn't what we look like today. It's probably your best headshot or whatever. That's all the president is the best headshot for America. But the reality is, if you're not participating in your local politicians, like a lot of people just went, oh, I'm going to vote down ballot the same party that I voted for president. No, I looked at each candidate separately. Probably because I'm actually involved in my community. Now, most of the niggas wouldn't know that. But, when I say niggas, I don't mean black people. I mean, if you look up the definition of nigger in the book, in the dictionary, it'll tell you it's an uneducated person. So there's a vast amount of uneducated motherfuckers out here who think that because you vote for a president, that's going to matter. That's like saying the CEO of the company you work for is the most important thing ever. The people who are the managers who you're going to interact with daily don't fucking matter, apparently. No, they matter more than the fucking CEO of the company. Right? Because the CEO of the company, you're probably never going to encounter. But guess who you're going to encounter on it? You know who walks down my street every day? The mayor of New Haven, Justin Ellicker. But a lot of mofos don't know that. Most hated, what's going on, brother? So I've been ranting for 20 minutes, taking my little walk. I'm gonna take y'all upstairs and I'm gonna get back into my financial shit. I just had to get that off my chest because I'm getting tired of seeing all these motherfuckers who normally we're talking about mating, dating, and relationships the wrong way anyway, have the nerve to have be sudden political pundits, but also have the nerve to be like, well, we don't care what Cardi B says, she's the dumbest da 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 da. Well, we don't care what your ass says. Your ass shows you're ineffective at picking leaders. Look at the men you follow in the manosphere and praise. No wonder women won't respect your dumb ass. Look who you select to be your quote unquote leaders of the manosphere. Yeah, brothers did get tired of it, but it don't matter, most hated, unless they do something on the local level. Because the on the spot, good morning. Because the president is just that. Again, everybody being so concerned about the president is basically everybody being so concerned about the CEO of their company. Unless the CEO of your company is working right next to you, good morning, is your local politician, because that's like the manager that fucking stands over you every day and tells you, "Hey, you took a 16-minute coffee break." The manosphere need to be dead, bro. But it doesn't need to be dead because there actually is some good shit in the manosphere. But as opposed to them coming to people like me or JT or even Anton for some shit. But I put up a video about Anton. You know, he has this whole. I'm on the elevator, so I might lose y'all for a minute. But even Anton, he has this whole investment club shit. And then he did a video talking about the investors in the WNBA are finally getting tired after 30 years. And then one of his people was like, wow, that's wild. 30 years and now you're gonna get upset? Yes, because the average time horizon on an investment is 20 years, which is why most Americans shouldn't be investing. Right? Now I've got some articles that I'm gonna share because we're gonna go over some of this stuff too. Because I guess I had to show it on my Facebook, but I had my real estate license too. Which is why when a lot of folks come up talking a lot of real estate shit, I talk shit to them too. Because there's just a lot that people don't understand. People apparently don't take their continuing education serious in all of these fields. Give me a second. I gotta let my little kitten out of the bathroom because I he keeps trying to fight my big cat. So I gotta put my big cat away because I don't want him to hurt or get hurt the other cat and all that stuff. I'm gonna hop on my computer and we're gonna go through this. Let me turn on my YouTube so I can get I don't know why my mic got muted. I would let y'all cats out, but I don't know where. I don't feel like y'all chasing each other around. So give me 2 seconds, YouTube, and I'm going to be right back. I just need to let my little cat out. Come here, Graham. Come here, bud. Come on. Stop running from the den. Now clean your litter box when I'm done. My big boy. There's my big boy. He's my big boy. Easy, big boy. Easy. I'm gonna get some crunchies. Yeah, somebody give you some food. Yeah. All right, little guy. Your turn to be out. Don't be jumping all over my desks and stuff. I'm busy doing stuff here. All right. Now, yeah, no problem, Miss Phoenix. No problem at all. I want to let me enter into here. All right. Hopefully. Okay. So I'm hoping y'all can hear me all right. Let me just check it on the YouTube. Hold on. Make sure everything is being heard here. Okay. So beautiful. I'm hoping y'all can hear me all right. All right. So now there's a few things I want to share. Let me actually just share them right now to my computer. Share this with my PC. And we're going to look at a bunch of stuff. Opening a new tab. So let's share my screen. So first of all, let's look at free tax preparation, because everybody is filing taxes now and everybody's Mr. Super Duper tax preparer. This shit should be important to you, the average American, because if you make $67,000, hi. Well, he just decided to jump on the table and say hi. Say hi. This is Phoenix. Jay, what's going on, brother? Say hi. So this is Vita tax, which if you make $67,000 or less, you shouldn't be going to fucking H&R Block or anything. You should be going to Google and Googling where is a Vita tax preparation station near me. Because Vita, he's like 6-8 months, something like that. Graham Cracker is 2 years old. That's my orange tabby. I got to keep them separated for now because they fight. But let me put this up. I have a Glock. Right? But you need to be getting your taxes done for free by the IRS. Most Americans can get their taxes done for free by the IRS. You should not be going to a CPA unless you're having them do your accounting or your bookkeeping or an audit on your business. A CPA is not a tax professional. A CPA is an accountant. Right? That's just like if somebody says, I'm a carpenter. Well, yes, they work on houses, but they're a carpenter. You would not have them doing your electrical work, because that's not what they do. If someone says, yeah, I work in construction, right? And their job is, they're a demolitionist, so they specialize in tearing down houses. Yeah, they may have the ability to also build the house, but that's not what they specialize in. So you wouldn't hire a demolition crew to build your house. You hire a demolition crew to destroy your house. So an accountant, a certified public accountant, is not a certified public taxation specialist. So the highest credential given by the IRS is EA, enrolled agent. Let's look at that. Right? Enrolled, I can't spell. Enrolled agent. Right? Because like I said, morning after pill, Trump is an little boy. If you don't get your happy behind off of my table. Yeah. Where was I? So enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is a person who has earned the privilege of representing taxpayers before the IRS by either passing a three-part comprehensive IRS test covering individual and business tax returns, or through experience as a former IRS employee. Enrolled agent status is the highest credential the IRS awards. Right? Now, why would you want the highest credential the IRS awards versus a fucking CPA? Yeah, definitely. You want to work with an EA. Phoenix, bro. I gotta move my gun. I need to put it up, but it is what it is. I had it in my pocket. I don't go anywhere without that thing on me, so I am partially a thug. Because but mine is legal. I'm licensed, so I'm also a scaredy cat. So if I probably will do everything I can to avoid having to pew anyone. Right? But so it's a good thing that you guys will be working with an enrolled agent, because an enrolled agent specializes in taxation, right? Whereas a CPA will do taxes, but they don't enjoy it. Now, let's look at some other things. First, I want to show y'all an article that was recently written by, what was it, CNBC? Right? The average age of U.S. home buyers jumps to 56. Now, when I was doing real estate, it was 52. If you go to Google right now, they'll tell you it's 38, but that's bullshit. So the average age of U.S. home buyers jumps to 56. Homes are wildly unaffordable for young people, real estate expert says. This was published Monday, November 4th. Let me make sure I maximize this. So the average age of home buyers has risen by 6 years since July 2023. So apparently it was 50 in 2023. Right? The average age of home buyers is now 56, up from 49 in 2023, according to the NAR. So that's the National Association of Realtors. So that's a historic high from an average age in the low to mid 40s in the early 2010s. The median age for first-time home buyers also rose from 35 to 38, while the share of first-timers dropped from 32% to 24% of all buyers for the year ending July 2024. So that marks the lowest percentage since the NAR started tracking the metric 40 years ago in 1981. In my 2 decades in the mortgage business, I've never seen a more difficult time for millennials to purchase a home. What's good, Dark Man Jeff? This is propaganda aimed at destroying our community. Yeah, there is a lot of propaganda aimed at destroying our community on this spot. But so now, that's a plausibility.
So I'm not currently a realtor, though I held my real estate license. So I have to defer to you. Why? Because you do real estate. So it'd be dumb of me to not defer to a realtor when talking about real estate, right? Now, the difficulty is, again, having had my real estate license and my insurance license, and actually worked as a stockbroker at EJ Sterling, a firm in New York on 39 Broadway on Wall Street. I have a dynamic perspective. The reality is, however, a lot of people still have to rent because they don't have a map. So what do I mean by a map? So this is why I implore realtors to stop just working with people who are credit repair agents and work with an insurance agent, not even a financial advisor who's going to put them into investments, because most Americans can't afford investments. Most Americans can't afford $500 in the event of an emergency. How are you going to afford the minimum investment, which is $10,000 or $834 a month? And the minimum investment truly is $25,000. So all these people telling you, I trade options, I trade Forex. No, they don't, because FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, says you can't trade unless you have $25,000 in a margin account. You can use the cash account, but you got to buy those securities in full. And for it to make an impact, you got to have a bunch more zeros. That's just like if you were to go to own a spot and say, hey, listen, I know that house is $500,000. I got a $500 down payment. She's going to tell you, you better look at renting. Because with $500, unless you're doing, NACA or some of these other home buying programs, ain't shit for you, and you're wasting her time. Right? The reality is, again, having sold real estate, most realtors or real estate agents don't sell a house for their first 5 years in business. A lot of people haven't gotten through the negotiation. Wellness with Frugal Mama, what's up? A lot of agents haven't gotten through the negotiations. They haven't submitted an offer sheet. They haven't gotten a deal sheet. They haven't had to have monies in escrow. A lot of agents don't even tell you about putting earnest money when you put in an offer. She says, that's not what I would say. You probably tell them the GTFOH, but I'm trying to be politically correct, right? But you may tell them, hey, maybe there's some programs, this, that, and the third. But, you ain't going to say, oh, great, $500. Let's go put an offer in on this house that's, 100,000 times more than what you got. You know what? I'm about to make my lime juice drink. So I want to look at something called a MAP, which is a mortgage acceleration plan. First, I want to show y'all something. Let's go to Google. Because I think it's important for realtors to work with a life insurance agent, right? Can you buy a house with life insurance? Yes, you can use life insurance to buy a house in a few ways. Can you use life insurance to buy a house? You can use your policy as collateral for a mortgage loan. Did you know that? Most people don't know that. Most insurance agents don't know that. It's something called a collateral assignment. So lenders may accept your policy as a form of collateral. By putting up your life insurance, you could qualify your chances for, or improve your chances for qualifying for a mortgage. Life insurance can help you buy a house. You could put the policy up as collateral, or if you have permanent life insurance that has cash value, you could build that. You could tap that to pay for your home, right? Now, most realtors will tell you, hey, borrow from your 401k or your IRA. That's the worst advice ever, because borrowing from your 401k or IRA is reducing the money that you'll have in retirement. You want to look like a hero as a realtor? Partner your client with an insurance agent. Why? Because they're going to add value to your book of business as well. because somebody having a cash value life insurance policy for at least 2 years or at least 3 years, and then taking that to use that as collateral, well, that shows to the mortgage bank, hey, this person is fiscally responsible because they've held this asset, because cash value life insurance is an asset. Let's look at JP Morgan Chase. What was it? JP Morgan Wealth Management. All right. If you don't get off of my table, cat. How to use life insurance as a financial asset. jpmorgan.com investment strategy. Right? NC Worker, what's up? JP Morgan Wealth Management. What does that say, y'all? This ain't some shit I just made up. It ain't some shit I'm saying just because I sell life insurance. Because I sell other things too. But let's just see what JP Morgan says you can use life insurance as a financial asset. Written August 19th, 2024. Yes, life insurance can offer a benefit to loved ones when you pass, but it can also be a financial asset during your life. Learn how it works. So I'm not going to read this whole article. I'm going to put this in the chat so you guys can read it on your own. And I already started cursing, spitting, and listening to gangster rap sheet. So I guess this one is not kid friendly. Right? So the life insurance policy can serve as an asset. You got whole life, you got universal life, you've got index universal life, you got variable universal life. I prefer whole life and index universal life. Traditional universal life, I don't like. Variable universal life, I don't like. But let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Log in. Let's do this. If it would ever log me in. We're gonna go to close that. We're gonna go to ChatGPT. I want to show y'all something. Explain using life insurance to qualify for a home versus using I know, you know what? And explain the pros and cons of each. Let's let ChatGPT. This cat is gonna make me kill him. If you don't get off of my table, why are you on my kitchen table, sir? You hungry? Come on, let me feed you. Yeah, you hungry? Yeah, you are. Eat. I'm gonna lock you. Go back and go. 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 I'm on live. Go. Eat. Sorry, y'all. My cat decided he was hungry and decided he was gonna jump on the table. So now you see, I just typed this in. What up? I just typed this in the chat GPT, right? Explain using life insurance to qualify for a home versus using your 401k or IRA to qualify for a home. Explain the major differences in tax liability minimums and maximums available in all, and explain the pros and cons of each. Now, let's type enter and see what ChatGPT says. When qualifying for a home, many people consider tapping into assets like life insurance, 401ks, or IRAs. Each one of these options has distinct tax implications, contribution limits, withdrawal rules, and impact on long-term wealth. Here's a breakdown of the pros and cons of using each. One, using life insurance. Obviously, it has to be cash value life insurance. Cash value life insurance, such as whole life or index universal life, can be leveraged to qualify for a home by borrowing against its cash value. Against, not from. Here's how it works and compares to other options. Tax implications, right? Let's make this a little larger. Right? Because again, I know so many realtors who I've been trying to work with and they got their head up their ass because they don't understand life insurance. And a lot of them didn't know I had my real estate license and I understand real estate. And I sold real estate in New York City. So when it comes to small towns like here, New Haven, Connecticut, I would run circles around a lot of these realtors. In most towns, when you do stuff in New York City, you're going to run circles around your competition in most things throughout the rest of the country. Because as New York goes, the rest of the country goes. I can't believe it, yo, Rael. I was on a panel. I think it might have been like Art Nostal. No, I was on with Dr. Dunbar, and there was a brother. We were talking back and forth in the chat, and I was like, well, as New York goes, the rest of the country goes. And he goes, dude, no disrespect, but that's bullshit. Da, 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 da. I'm here in Texas. And I was like, yes, that's great you're there in Texas. But as New York goes, because, New York happens to be the financial capital of the fucking world, the rest of the country goes. But let's read what ChatGPT says. So, tax implications. Loan access. Loans from a life insurance cash value aren't considered taxable income, as they're treated as a loan against your own policy. No penalties. Since it's a loan, you aren't penalized for taking funds out at any age. Contribution and withdrawal limits. No maximum contribution. Life insurance contributions or premiums don't have the same yearly limits as IRAs or 401ks, allowing you to build significant cash value depending on your premium amounts. Policy loan limits. You can generally borrow up to 90% of the policy's cash value, though some insurers may have their own limitations. That's an industry average that you can borrow 90%. Pros. Tax-free loan. Accessing the cash value doesn't trigger a tax event, provided that it's structured as a loan and not a withdrawal. No early withdrawal penalties. Unlike a 401k and an IRA, there are no age restrictions for penalties for accessing your cash value. How many real estate agents do I hear talking all the time? Well, why don't you just borrow from your 401k? I would not now use you as a realtor. Unfortunately. Because that means you don't give a fuck. You give a fuck about your commission. You don't give a fuck about me actually being a long-term client and possibly coming back and sending you other people. Protection of growth. If structured properly, the cash value can continue to grow even while you have an outstanding loan, which means potential for continued accumulation. Boom. No impact on credit score. Since loans against cash value don't show up on credit reports, it won't affect your debt to income ratio in the same way as conventional loans. Even mortgage brokers tell you dumb shit like, borrow from your 401k. They often won't even try to take collateral because they don't want to do the paperwork. Cons: interest on loans. You'll typically be charged interest on loans, although it goes back into the policy. Failure to repay may decrease the death benefit. Initial funding time. Cash value takes time to accumulate, meaning you'll need to start years in advance. Well, guess what? You'll also have to do years in advance. To borrow from your 401k, you have to have had that for a few years. It requires proper structuring. Not all life policies accumulate cash value, and poor structuring could leave you without sufficient funds. That's very true. Like all these agents praising the IUL as the fucking new thing since sliced bread, and they don't know how to properly structure an IUL. So they're doing harm to you, the general public. See if I can make that just a tad bit bigger. So let's look at number 2. Using a 401k plan, because that's what everybody tells you to do. But wait, it's going to take time for you to build up enough liquidity in your 401k. And the average American can't afford to contribute $23,000 a year into their 401k. It used to be $24,500. Tapping into your 401k involves either a loan or an early withdrawal. Tax implications. Loans from a 401k aren't taxable, but you must repay them with interest, often within 5 years. You know, you don't have that. There's no time frame for paying back the loan on life insurance. Yet, everybody's telling you, borrow from your 401k. Why would you do that? That would be like a realtor telling you, yeah, go get a hard money loan. Well, you really can't qualify for a hard money loan unless you know, there's a lot that goes into a hard money loan. And you got to be an investor really to get a hard money loan. You wouldn't want to get a hard money loan for your home that you're trying to live in. I used to work with a lot of investors when I sold real estate. I'm just checking the chat. Okay, we good in here. So, there's also early withdrawals. An early withdrawal before age 59 and a half incurs a 10% penalty and is taxed as ordinary income, which can significantly reduce the amount you receive. Contribution and withdrawal limits. Excuse me. In a 401k, the annual contribution for 2024 is capped at $23,000 or $30,500 if you're over 50. Now, also, I want you to think about this with these qualified retirement plans. If you can afford to put $23,000 a year away and still live comfortably in America, that means that your lifestyle is substantially more than $23,000. Yet with the 4% safe withdrawal rule, the whole thing Dave Ramsey was mad about, talking about the 8%, if you have $1 million in your 401k when you retire, and you draw down 4%, and this is assuming that it's $1 million after they take the income tax, you're only drawing down $40,000. You know that a person who can contribute $23,000 a year is living substantially higher than $40,000. The myth is that when you get older, your expenses are going to be less because things like you're supposedly supposed to own your home, when a mortgage literally textbook definition is payment till death. Right? Club Fortune, what's up, brother? Let me see. I need to make you a moderator. And like we said, we got the big wrench in the building. My man Rael, he's got the moderating wrench. So don't get it twisted. He can still pow, folks. Now, your contribution and withdrawal limits. So again, for 2024, the contributions are capped at $23,000. Your loan limits, you can borrow up to 50% of your vested balance with a maximum of $50,000. But if we look at the average 401k balance in America, it's maybe about $68,000. Pros: accessible loan option. You can take a loan without penalty. Let me hop on because I'm gonna have to hop on through my computer. My phone. Let me see what to go on here. All right. Let me mute this. All right. So I got to read this through my computer screen because life has a way of lifing. And I got to walk away and do stuff. So I'm kind of preoccupied, but I don't want to just leave y'all staring at the screen for too long without me talking. So in the interim, before I come back, I had to clean out these daggone cat's litter boxes. And that's, you got to do that, right? As a pet owner, you gotta take care of the pet stuff too, right? But so there are contribution limits to the 401k, right? So the main crux that people will tell you is borrow from your 401k or borrow from your IRA, and you can put that as a down payment towards your house. And nobody ever, a lot of these buy term invest the difference guys never tell you what about the opportunity cost of going into 401k. It's the same opportunity cost as going into life insurance. Yeah, it's going to take some years for it to accumulate. It's the same opportunity cost as going into a brokerage account. Because what if while you're putting your money in this brokerage account, 6 months later, you see a quote unquote better investment opportunity? Well, you're screwed. Because now you've spent that opportunity because you got to leave that money in the brokerage account, generally anything for at least 1 year. So the opportunity cost is always going to rise. When you put money in one place, the opportunity to put it in another place goes away. So while that opportunity cost, again, because a lot of people in these positions understand the psychology of selling. And so because of that, sorry, I just had the cough. But so people understand that, yes, there is an opportunity cost. But again, if I take the opportunity to spend $1 at McDonald's, that means that I now don't have the opportunity to spend that same dollar at Burger King. So opportunity cost is an illusion, right? It's not something that's real, right? It's not something that you would actually deal with on a actual life basis, right? So let's continue to read along. So you can borrow what? So pros. Accessible loan options. You can take a loan without penalty or tax implications if repaid on time. But again, with life insurance, there is no, and I'm gonna drop the link in a minute. But with life insurance, there's no timeline for repayment. You know what the timeline for repayment is? Until you die. So you can have that loan for 30 years. You can have that loan for 30 minutes from your cash value life insurance. Doesn't matter the life insurance. Now, you still do have to pay your premiums to keep the policy afloat. But I think the other day I showed you on one of the IULs that is actually happening from my client, where I illustrated a 5% interest rate, but he actually receives 9.7% interest. So almost double what we promised him is what he's getting. You're not going to hear that from an investment because an investment isn't going to promise you anything because they can't. He said Rick James cat. Yeah, that cat is Rick James, and man. Talking about fuck your couch, fuck your table. Dog says. I'm gonna let y'all see Graham Cracker too, because I haven't shown him in a while. He's gotten big. I think y'all remember him when he was a kid, right? Um, and shout out to the credit solutionist because she put me up on something the other day while she was live. When it comes to when we see these numbers on these streams, when we see the numbers drop, it doesn't mean that people left, but we got to realize that they they uh they put ads and stuff. Yeah, let me go grab Graham Cracker and put him on this screen because otherwise he will get. We call him King Petty right now because he be being petty with Phoenix. Like when we open, like I did open the doors and let them kind of try and get acclimated to each other. And Graham was just super King Petty. He went into the bathroom and then he used Phoenix's litter box. And I was like, yo, that's petty as shit. You got your own whole litter box. And why are you peeing in your little brother's litter box? And I think that's why Phoenix wants to beat him up all the time. Let me go grab him. Sir Graham of the Crackers. Hey, buddy. People want to see you. Come on. You hear him? Come on. All right. Say hi, Graham Cracker. Say hi, Graham Cracker. Look at the camera. Say hi. 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 All right. He's done. So where were we? So again, you have the accessible loan option. So you can take a loan without penalty or tax implications if repaid on time. Quick access. So 401k loans are relatively easy to process, giving you fast access to funds. Cons. Repayment risk. If you leave your job, you may need to repay the loan quickly to avoid penalties and taxes. Loss compounding. Remember, with that book, Infinite Banking, let me see if y'all can see this. The green screen. With this book, Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash, it teaches you that life insurance is the only asset that grows with uninterrupted compound interest. If you borrow money from your brokerage account, if you borrow money from your crypto account, if you borrow money from your 401k, if you borrow money from your IRA, let's say all of those things have a $100,000 balance and you have a $100,000 balance of cash value in your life insurance. Every product that you borrow $50,000 from, now you're only earning interest on $50,000, with the exception of life insurance. You borrow $50,000 from the cash value of your life insurance, the balance is going to remain $100,000 that you're earning interest on. This is what the rich know that the poor don't, and that's why they want you to keep buying all the stuff that makes them rich. So, loss compounding. When funds are borrowed from... my mic muted? No, my mic is not muted. Okay. Yes, Phoenix, I'll let you out later. I don't need you beating up on your brother right now. And Graham has not been out all morning. Yes. Be quiet. So, when funds are borrowed from your 401k, they're no longer invested, which could diminish your retirement savings. Contribution limits. Limited contributions means that borrowing repeatedly may hinder your ability to build long-term wealth effectively. Using an IRA. IRA withdrawals are generally discouraged for home purchases due to penalties, but there is a first-time home buyer exception. Tax implications. First-time home buyer exception. You can withdraw up to $10,000 from a traditional IRA without the 10% penalty if it's used for a first-time home purchase, though taxes still apply. Roth IRA contributions can be withdrawn anytime tax-free, but earnings may be taxed and penalized if withdrawn early. Contribution limits. Annual contribution limit. IRAs have a $7,000 contribution limit in 2024, or $8,000 if you're 50 or older. Withdrawal limits. For first-time home purchases, there's a $10,000 lifetime limit without penalties from a traditional IRA. Pros. First-time home buyer exception. This is a tax-efficient option for first-time home buyers who need a small boost. Pros. No loan repayment. Since it's a withdrawal rather than a loan, there's no repayment requirement, which can be simpler. Cons. Low withdrawal limits. A $10,000 lifetime limit may be insufficient, especially in today's real estate market. Lost retirement savings. Withdrawals reduce your retirement fund and earnings and potential on the withdrawn amount. It is permanently lost. Tax implications on growth. For a traditional IRA, the withdrawal is considered taxable income, which may push you into a higher tax bracket. So let's look at the summary comparison chart. Life insurance, asset type, life insurance, 401k, IRA. Tax penalties, none on loans in the life insurance, none if a loan through a 401k, and on a traditional IRA, $10,000 limit for a first-time home buyer. Maximum available, up to 90% of your cash value. So if you have $1 million in there, you can borrow up to $900,000 and pay the house off in cash and not worry about that amortization schedule and just pay yourself back into the life insurance. Or you can borrow up to $50,000 from a 401k, or you can borrow a maximum of $10,000 from an IRA. Pros: tax-free loans, no early penalties, and it's credit neutral, so it never hits your credit. A 401k, there's no tax penalty if repaid, so you got to repay it in 5 years or there's a tax penalty, and it's quick access. Pros for the IRA: it's a tax benefit for first-time home buyers. The cons: it requires time to accumulate cash value, and there is interest on loans. Well, in the 401k, there's a risk of penalties if your job changes and you've missed compounding. It also requires time to accumulate enough cash in your 401k to have at least $50,000, which if you have $50,000, you can only borrow 50%, so $25,000. So you need to have at least $68,000. So you can borrow up to $50,000. So it takes time. IRA, low limit, taxes, loss of compounding, and guess what? It requires time for you to build up enough cash to have the $10,000 in there, doesn't it? Each option has benefits and trade-offs based on the timing of need, tax considerations, and future financial goals. For clients, these choices highlight the need for strategic planning to ensure they maximize home affordability without jeopardizing long-term financial security. So there you have it, lady. Oh, shit. I wasn't even sharing the screen. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right? I just realized I wasn't sharing the screen. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And this wasn't from me. I typed this in the ChatGPT. ChatGPT broke this down for y'all. Right? I use ChatGPT for a lot. I type in, hey, I want to say this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third. I don't want to be cursing, spitting, smoking, and listening to gangster rap so people's kids can watch it. Can you do that for me. Now, then I take the video and then I spin it on my own and start cursing, spitting, and listening to gangster rap again. But I digress. So I want to show y'all a couple of more things. Let's look at something really fast here. Oh God, I hate when they do this. Okay. This password must not match the last 13 password. What the fuck do you think people do? Just create passwords out of nowhere? It okay, that's fine. B. I could do it like that. There we go. Now I'm gonna share something else with y'all. I'm just gonna share my whole screen while I'm doing this, because it's a lot easier that way. So I can navigate back and forth. So generally I show you guys one company, but I'm gonna start showing you guys a lot more Prudential stuff too. So let's do New Baby. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's do an illustration. Let's do this because a guy wanted to challenge me on TikTok about the internal rate of return. So we're going to do the newest IUL from Prudential, which is Momentum. Fix all errors. Let's change the state. We'll do that shortly. All right, right now I'm putting together an IUL, and I want to show the internal rate of return. Now, the reason I'm showing this is because again, when you're looking at home purchase and when you're looking at buying IULs, a lot of agents don't put it together right. So this guy is paying $20,000 a year for a $350,000 death benefit. You can get substantially more at age 52 for a $350,000 death benefit. And again, this is with Prudential. So this is the guaranteed illustration. Plus returns. So these are the guaranteed values. So we allocated it in the 1 year point-to-point S&P 500. And then, oh shit, I meant to put that in the NASDAQ. Let's redo that. I didn't want it in the software accounts. Yeah, no, we don't want it in that. We want it in the 1 year NASDAQ. Let's close that one. So you can allocate to different indices. So in this particular one, I put in the 1 year point-to-point S&P 500, and then I put it in the NASDAQ 1 year. So the NASDAQ, it has some of those magnificent 7 stocks that you want. Alphabet, NVIDIA, blah, blah, blah. That's why a lot of people need some kind of familiarity with securities. Again, it's still a $347,000 death benefit, which an average man, right? So we're also going to look at a term policy because at $20,000, I'm going to show you what $20,000 a year will get that same 52-year-old man in death benefit. Okay. Now, these are based on your guaranteed interest rates, right? So in the fixed account, you're guaranteed 1%. In all of these, you're guaranteed 0, but 0 is your hero. Now, we don't want to really look at the guaranteed results because guaranteed is not what's going to happen. We want to look at non-guaranteed, which is what's actually happening. Guaranteed, non-guaranteed values. So this is why this is important because I'm going to also put this on TikTok. So I got to change that from perpetuity, but I have him paying in perpetuity right now, $20,000 a year, right? I didn't trigger the income, but after 10 years, he put $200,000 in there, right? His contract fund, so he's earned $9,000 over the course of the last 10 years. Not the best return, not the worst return. He's surrender value, if you should cancel it, he'll get $5,000 additional for making sure that if he died along that time, his family got at first what he bought was $347,000. But if you look here, by year 10, his death benefit is $557,000. So his surrender value rate of return is 0.44%. His tax equivalent surrender value is 0.68%, right? Because a lot of these financial pros, well, let's look at the internal rate of return. Well, the internal rate of return on the death benefit is 18%. And the internal rate of return, the tax equivalent, is 27%. So it far outweighs and beats the bejesus out of those investment accounts and those brokerage accounts that you get a 1099 on at the end of every year. Now, does the return actually equal that? No, because you don't realize that return. But it's there in plain English, the numbers. Now, I'm going to stop this for now. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Anybody wants to join, feel welcome to join. This is your opportunity to ask questions. Tell me I'm full of shit. Tell me what I've taught you is meaningless. Tell me I'm a fraud. Tell me I'm valuable. Tell me whatever you want to tell me. Right? I'm going to pause here for a moment. I need to charge this speaker. I need to go make me some coffee, but I ain't drinking coffee. Rain, did you go back in the room? Do I need to let Phoenix back out? I'll be right back. And if nobody's here, then I'm gonna close out. Graham, where you at? Okay, I'm gonna let Phoenix go. Come on, Phoenix. Where you at? $1 million. He's gonna bite me now. You biting the daddy? You biting the daddy? No, you're not gonna bite me on camera. He's not gonna bite me on camera. He's gonna be docile. I'm cute. I'm cute. I'm innocent. Okay. So looks like nobody wants to come up. So me and Phoenix and Graham Cracker are gonna bid you all adieu. I've been going for a little over an hour. I appreciate you all coming up, watching with me. Yeah, man. I'm a cat guy. I used to be a dog guy until I got cats, bro. I'm be honest. But so, the reality is yes, Trump won. Cool. We still got to go back to work, especially as Black Americans. Because even though a bunch of us brothers were for Trump, none of us came with a plan for Black America like Ice Cube did. So what do we expect Black Americans to get? Now, just like Kamala Harris said, anything that benefits Black people is going to benefit the rest of the country. So a lot of stuff that benefits the rest of the country might benefit some sector of Black folk. A lot of the Black folk that are over here on my channel, your income may not be that of with which you think you'll be affected, but your mindset is. And mindset has a lot to do with income. Because if you show me the 5 motherfuckers you hang out with for no reason, if they're all broke, guess what you about to be? The 6th broke motherfucker. If you hang out with 5 motherfuckers who don't have money, but they have the mindset of getting money, and they're not on this donkey dumbass shit of sitting on the block all day, smoking weed and chasing after the local ugly, girl, then there you go. Right? What's up, brother? All right, I'll let you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, peace, man. Peace, bro. Yeah, yeah, I just wanted to obviously, man, there's a lot of tight feelings, man, with people right now, man. But let me say this, man. It really doesn't really matter what side of the political divide you're on. Uh, Money is important. Uh, Wealth creation is important. Proper estate planning is important. Um, at the end of the day, like anybody that you support, their policies should be tied into you being able to get some money. And I don't mean from through welfare. I mean literally that policy needs to help you keep more of your money in your pocket because nobody is here to fund any government that keeps you broke. So you need to be able to tie, your support for any candidate, no matter what side, you're on, to the ability to be able to literally take care of you and your family, because that's what it's about. Your first political unit is your family. So that needs to be your family's interest needs to be tied into your political interest. And at the end of the day, I don't know who is going to argue with having more money in their pocket. That just doesn't make sense.
No sense. Now, I want to show you something because, so, you know, the firm my wife works for. And so I personally, I was struggling with who I was going to select. If it was going to be Trump, if it was going to be Harris, if it was going to be Cornel West, if it was going to be the Green Party and Jill Stein. Because whilst in my field, I appreciate the fact that Trump was for deregulation. Deregulation of a lot of stuff meant my job gets a lot easier. Means that more money is going to come into my pocket. But I also have to look at 2017 when he shut down the federal government for 35 days. Right? Your average American isn't affected by that, but these wealthy motherfuckers are. I know people right now who are owed from 2017 a $2 million tax return that they still have not received. It is 2024, almost 2025. Your average American ain't thinking about that because your average American ain't even seeing $2 million in earned income, let alone a tax return of $2 million. But I was up this morning taking my wife to work, and let me share this screen because this is what I saw. And this is why I typed in what I typed. You see what this says? Fireside chat with Sri Shakitanka Das, Governor of the Reserve Bank of India. November 6th at 10:30 a.m. their time. We were still counting the votes at this point. Right? I shared this on my community tab because I thought that this was more important than us worried about counting the votes. He's the governor of the Reserve Bank of India. What's that thing everybody's talking about? BRICS. So let them count the vote. We're going to find out whoever won on ABC and a bunch of channels right now who are normally talking about, their escapades on Pornhub ain't going to know nothing about this. I'm not going to play this video.
Oh my God. Wow, bro.
Listen, man. I can't, bro. As black men who are about something, we got to stop. We got to put our foot down. We got to put our knee on the necks of these niggas.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, like people don't understand like what's the difference between a developed country and a developing country. A developed country has institutions.
Mm-hmm.
So America is, as far as a nation in terms of collectivism is concerned, it doesn't have a shortage of institutions that people can utilize to make their lives better. So, for me, it's like the way that people are approaching these elections is like they looking for like Jesus Christ or somebody like to save them, like to save you from what? Like you have the mechanisms that you need. If you want to go to school in America and become a doctor, like you don't even have to pay for it. All you got to do is make good grades. You can get scholarships. I mean, Gates scholarship, all these different scholarships out here that'll pay for you literally to go to school, full ride scholarships out here. Like what politician is like kind of stopping you from doing things in your own personal life that you need to be doing anyway? Like just certain things. Like I'm a man. Like I'm not looking at a politician like, hey, I need them to inspire me to do. I need them to inspire me to go take out the trash. I go take out the trash because I need to take out the goddamn trash. Like, I mean,
Nah, man. Trump got to tell you to take out the trash. That's why he had that garbage truck. And like I said, I voted for him, but I was, I also had to think, am I fucking up my family economy, right?
right.
Because
You do have to you do have to think about that. But one thing that we have to recognize too is that we have people who have been in office for 40, 50, 60 years. And one guy who came in from for 4 years is not the reason why there's so much gridlock and stupidity in government. Like it's the people that's been in there all this time. So people might just want to take a look at the people who have been in office for 40 and 50 years and not blame the person who in the private sector has shown the ability to be successful. Because in the private sector, you actually got to compete out here.
Yeah.
Whereas if you want to, if you know, for years, they you had them calling black women welfare queens. I say the real welfare queens is these career politicians who live on the government dole and are constantly taxing and taking money and wasting money. And when somebody tries to come in and clean up some of this nonsense which has been going on, the people fight back because you know if you're in government, like there's no end to money because you can constantly keep
Right.
taxing people. So and you
Well,
don't
here's
have to really
something.
be you don't have to be you don't have to balance the checkbook because the government is going out always in debt. How can the government constantly be in debt when it's constantly receiving tax money? Like that's just backwards.
Yeah.
That's
And that's
just
why they want
backwards.
you in those qualified retirement plans, that 401k, that IRA. They
Right.
want you in those programs because that's how shit like the SSI won't be bankrupt in 9 years, right? But
Right.
another issue with government. So again, having a wife who's a federal employee and shit, we know other people from these YouTube spaces who are federal employees. As a federal employee, you can't get paid more than the president, and the president's annual salary is $400,000. And I find that to be fucked up because I know what my wife does, the work she does, the stress that she deals with, and the time that I have to deal with not having her here with me. Because right now, as a man, I'm not at a point that I can retire her. So it pisses me off sometimes. There was some Jewish guy. I know a Jewish guy who worked with a girl, and he made her quit. But he's got his community. If I were to make my wife quit, I'd have a bunch of niggas like, you stupid, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Still wouldn't
Right.
come fuck with me on this shit. They also wouldn't know what this fireside chat is or what it's about. Right? Again, this is the governor of the Reserve Bank of India. We shouldn't have got enough niggas typing hashtag bricks.
Well, let me say this though.
Mm-hmm.
Before the election, there was something that Bloomberg News had. It was called the Business Roundtable, where Trump went and completely shellacked the guy who was interviewing him.
Mm.
But the thing that I said, when I was talking to Complex was, okay, when it was time to meet black men, where was Black Men's Business Roundtable?
Where was black men's businesses? Not that
Where?
there aren't one.
No. I said Business Roundtable. Well, I'm saying like a organization,
Ah,
because Bloomberg is a business. It's a business channel.
yeah.
From Michael Bloomberg.
I
And the
actually
point that
know
I
a
was
guy who works at the Bloomberg hedge fund.
who?
I know he works at the Bloomberg hedge fund. I met him on the train out here in New Haven.
Okay.
Again, yeah, you're gonna run in New York City and New Haven. New York and Connecticut, believe it or not, more than New York and Jersey, has a lot of people traveling through. The wealthy people go to Connecticut. The celebrities go to New Jersey.
Yeah. When the candidates met with black men, they met with black men in barbershops,
Yeah.
and that's the difference. That's the fundamental difference.
Yeah.
And so, black men as a collective, like if you want to be taken seriously, you got to be serious, and that means you got to be serious about business because business drives politics. Whether you want to admit it or not, I was just watching Kevin O'Leary on Fox, and he was like, when this notion of taxing unrealized gains came up, like that was a scare for a lot of small businesses because most people in the world that are coming here from other countries are coming here to do business. I don't
Yeah.
know if most black people understand that. Most people who are come here, especially legally, but even illegally, Most of these people are coming here not to work. They come here to work to raise money to ultimately set up a business. So I don't know what black people are, what they're thinking about because they're so woke that they're actually rocked to sleep. But
Mm,
people are actually here coming from other countries for business. They're taking advantage of the opportunities that black people don't take advantage of because many black people want there to be a such thing as a perfect America before they do something. That ain't never going to exist. Ain't never going to be a perfect America because this man that you claim is so bad, why would he give you a perfect America? You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So that's just an excuse for you to sit on your butt, to be self-righteous, point the finger at everybody else when you don't do nothing. Look at your family. How many people in your family is leaving you a life insurance policy down the road? You know what I'm saying? Like these are the type of questions you're gonna have to start asking people in your family, and then what you're gonna realize is that there's gonna be a lot of tough conversations for you and your family members to have because nobody is planning for the future in your family. And there's a lot of black people that got a lot of old people in their family right now who have not planned generationally for their future and the
Mm,
future after that. So the reality of the situation is don't point your finger at politicians because at least politicians are trying to get up in there so they can do something for their family. What you trying to do for your family?
mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. And even further, when you look at again the Indian guy that I speak of, Dr. Talani, that 300 years in the future, like that blew my mind. Like, yeah, I thought people thought into the future, but I was thinking, oh, maybe 50, if they're really stretching it, they'll think 100 years down the
Mm.
line. This guy said 300 years into the future. He know he gonna be gone, his kids gonna be gone, and probably his grandkids gonna be gone.
Well, we talked about this when we talked about Booker T. Washington. When Booker T. Washington was setting up Tuskegee, uh, um, he recognized that he said, it could take 100 years for this plan to fully implement. So he knew he wasn't going to be around for it to fully implement. But what he was willing to do is lay the foundation for it to get to that point. So he had a vision to go into the future and to have something that was sustainable for black people overall, but for black men specifically. So when you have these types of men that come through your group, you know what I'm saying, to the point that other people's other people's men are coming to the school. People from China, people from India, people from Africa, people from Japan, from the
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean. Many of these people came from these places to go to Tuskegee to learn from Booker T. Washington and the plan that he had, to the point that you have people translating his books that he wrote. They were telling their people, hey, we need to learn from this guy. We need to learn about him. So how can we can go from that kind of men who are thinking that forward thinking to now a bunch of backwards thinking guys who don't understand things on a basic level. Their approach to politics is based on their feelings.
Mm,
Politics is not based on your feelings. Politics is based on money. That's what it is. Money drives politics. You can't pass. You got to have the money. I don't care how stupid the policy is. You got to have some money to back it. So you can't approach as men. You can't approach politics from your feelings and whether somebody loves you. I mean, you seeing dudes out here talking about I need to feel love from a politician. Man, what is wrong with
yeah.
y'all? Like, grow up, man. Like, yo, you got to be about
True.
business, man. Like, for real. And if you want to be respected, be about some business because I don't care what any of these cats say. One thing is going to be clear. When you're in your business, you're going to have two types of women. You're going to have the types of women that are going to fear you and not get on your program. And then you're going to have those types of women who are going to try to do whatever they can to help you achieve that objective. You got to just pick the one that's going to help you achieve the objective. Most of the females won't, because most of these females are more tailored into the here and now, the me. They're not into delayed gratification. Business is about delayed gratification, and if you plant that seed and water it properly, cultivate it properly, you'll be successful at it. But it takes time, and if that person is not willing to put in the time, then they're not going to reap the reward that comes from the actual patience of the cultivation of whatever that business project that you're trying to do. So that's where it is. That's the bottom line. Seed time, harvest time. And a lot of people in our group don't understand that. 100+ years ago, we used to understand that. That was a norm. It was not new. It's not a new phenomenon. We just got away from it and become a more dependent type of group of people. But as we see with this election, I mean, I was looking at the numbers, man, in Georgia, man. He got 25%, man, of the black men vote in Georgia. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that kind of like, I mean, that's letting you know, like, it's some different brothers that's on the scene that's thinking a whole lot differently than what most. This is my mentality, and I've been saying this for years, man. Whatever direction most black people choose to go in, I'm going to do the complete opposite, because I know that if I do the complete opposite, I'm going to be successful. I'm not going to follow that herd, because most of that herd is moving in the wrong direction. And so at the end of the day, you have to have a plan of forward movement. And that's the problem with a lot of these cats out here. They want to be leaders, but they're not leaders. They want the leadership position, but they have no plan to take anybody anywhere. You just want the position, and that's not how it works.
Which was the encountering of women. Because again, when you're on business, right? So you're gonna have those women who won't approach you for your business, and then you'll have those women who are just turned on because you're about business, and they don't even want to get with you. They just want to help you. Prime example, Talani, bro. She ain't want nothing to do with me on the, mating, dating, but she was making sure to be all up in mine, because she was like, yo, this brother is doing something. Let me get with him.
Yep,
right? And now she had a selfish thing, because when she came to me, she was asking for assistance in catapulting her insurance agency. Now she's out there thriving. Am I mad at it? Hell no, I'm proud, because I'm able to say, yo, this black woman was able to get her business off the ground, and I had a hand in it. Did I, lead her exactly? No, but she spoke to me and asked me questions, and I was able to point her in the direction that now she's out there thriving. She's moving and shaking and doing things. So what you're going to get also, though, you're going to get both of the women. You're going to get the women who want that instant gratification, who think they can just turn around and throw you some fart box and think that you're going to fall for it. And the problem is, a lot of these black men who own businesses, which happen to be just a fucking barbershop or a wing spot, and there's nothing wrong with either, right? But we have to expand, right? I'll give you an example. I was on Facebook, right? And I think we had this conversation. Yes, if you have the barbershop, good. If you have the wing spot, good. But who are you getting your supplies from? Because if it ain't another black business, then you're that close to being shut down.
Exactly, bro.
Right? So that's what I mean. I was on my Facebook, and this guy goes, hey, can you list me 5 black businesses in Connecticut that have been in business for 10 years or more? How many of them businesses do you think were hair care and restaurants? Almost all of them. I'm not even going to let you guess.
You're right, bro. Go ahead.
Right? But how many of those businesses were, I don't know, cleaning or logistics or anything like that? None. Right? So that goes back to what you said. Where's the black men's business roundtable? We don't have one. And we have businesses, right? But we're competing. Bro, like I said, my cousin had 2 barbershops. Bro, my wife works for the fucking IRS. Why wouldn't you come to us and talk to us when you're in tax issues?
Right.
I even came to him and was like, damn, you doing your tax return now? You know, I said, why do business owners wait? The nigga said to me, man, it really don't matter. I looked at him and said, bro, do you know who you talking to? He said, do you know who you talking to? I've been doing this for 7 years. Nigga, my wife in 7 minutes has done more with business owners' tax returns than you have in 7 years. And I happen to hold my PTIN, my prepares tax identification number. And I was actually on Wall Street. So I actually do work with business owners. You don't know this because you were too busy competing with me and instead of letting me sit down and show you some shit because you was on some nigga shit thinking this nigga ain't got a car. That's why the fuck I jumped out the window with a fucking brand new Benz on niggas. Because unfortunately with the low tier people, they're concerned about your appearance. You wouldn't imagine how many broke black folk, oh, you need a haircut. You're broke. You know how my rich clients, you know what they're concerned with? They don't give a fuck what I look about. My rich clients care that, hey, can you do what I'm paying you this $50,000 for?
Right.
I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you curse, spit, smoke, and listen to gangster rap. Are you going to do what I pay you to do? Yes? Then do what I pay you to do. Other than that, I don't care if you want to wear plastic bags. That's your prerogative. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's just a lot. We just have a lot of childish way of thinking in Black America as a whole. From the oldest people, you know, if anything, I would say really some of the younger people actually have more sense than the older people, to be honest with you. And so, um, to me, as far as I'm concerned, the one thing that I really appreciate about this election more so than anything, it is a complete repudiation of the black leadership in Black America. Black leadership took the most catastrophic L it could have taken. They jumped out the window hard body for this chick, and they got utterly rejected. And so all the people that y'all believe in, all the people that y'all see on TV and this and that and the fourth, and you know, they down with this particular group and fraternity and sorority and all that, man, that shit don't matter at all. Period. The question is do the people that you support, are they forward thinking? You know, you got people like Musk who is trying to figure out how to colonize other freaking planets, and then we got politicians that want you to watch a performance of Meg the Stallion or Glorilla. So who is going to take you further, man? I mean, is that going to take you further than what Musk is doing? Like y'all are feeding yourself what kind of life you want, and so if you feeding yourself a whole bunch of junk and entertainment, and are not focused, guess what? That same 60, 70-year-old black person you see as a janitor mopping floors, that's going to be your future because you didn't plan properly when you were younger. And there's no excuse. There's a whole bunch of information out here. People out here putting these podcasts together. You know, people like you connecting us with other people, man, like Kinder and stuff like that. You know, those cats, be dropping hella information to help get your families in order. Like that should be your number one priority, you know. And if you're not focused, and that's man and woman. Like if your focus is not your family, then you're completely unfocused because the family is the most basic unit on earth. So this is where you get your basic level of protection. This is where you get people who can help you self actualize the best version of yourself. So if you don't have that kind of family around you, I would say, man, avoid your relatives because that's all they are. They're not family. They're just relatives. You're just related to them. So to me, that's really what it's about. Black leadership has utterly failed Black people for the past 100+ years. I'm glad to see them take this L and have all this egg on their face, because maybe black people will start looking at themselves individually, from their family perspective, and start having those tough conversations that black people are going to have, because we got a whole generation of people called boomers that are getting old. And there's going to be a lot of these people who are going to be old with no money, who are going to be leaning on the younger generation. And this is going to cause a lot of internal strife and problems that we see out here. And it ain't going to be enough GoFundMe account that y'all going to be able to set up to get people to pay for your dead relative's funeral, because that's not their responsibility. That's your job as a family, just like it always has been. Because I remember in my family, how my great grandparents and people like that, they, one of the things that they wanted to do the most was make sure they had a place to bury themselves, because they did not want to be a financial burden on people when they left this earth. And unfortunately, a lot of black people's families do that to them, and have them fighting each other after somebody passes, because they're not prepared, because they don't want to they don't want to take life seriously. And unfortunately, that's the problem in our group. A lot of people just don't take life seriously, and that's why we're lagging behind when we should be way further ahead, than what we are, because we've been in the system long enough to understand it and learn it and utilize it to our advantage.
I concur. Um, that's a mic drop right there, bro. Real rap, because again, even though he wrote this comment in jest, right? NC worker, well, what about white supremacy? We always look for the big boogeyman to blame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, a lot of these people have been in, especially when it comes to black leadership. And, there's been a lot of people in a lot of these seats for 40, 50, 60 years, not just black
Mm-hmm.
brothers too. But
Mm-hmm.
we also, and there's something that I said in terms of either party. Again, a lot of black folks were, oh, well, the Democratic Party, they're the people that are for us, or they're the people that are for poor people. Well, then I don't want to be a part of the Democratic Party, because I don't want to be a party
Nope.
for poor people. I don't want to be poor people.
Nope. Nope.
So then why the fuck would I want to? Now, I'm not a part of the Republican Party either. I'm a registered independent. I'm sitting on the fence saying, what you got? What you
Yeah, I'm
got? What
independent
you
too.
got? What you got?
Yeah.
You got this? I'm over here. You got this? I'm over here. I don't give a fuck about either one of them. I care about which one of them is gonna make me get the best benefit, and whichever one of them is gonna do the best, for lack of a better term, dog and pony dance. Who's gonna buck dance for me? I ain't buck dancing for nobody.
Nope.
Right? But I'm make them buck dance for my dollar, because at the end of the day, if again, with especially with black folk, right? Like the phone call that I just got is a brother who's damn near 60 years old, who was, well, Donald Trump is racist, and my grandmother used to cook collard greens in the bathtub too. She's actually a black woman. Well, don't matter now, she lost, but what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? What does that have to do with this thing that I have up in the background? Whether, if Donald Trump is racist, well, then we're in a bunch of trouble, because there's a bunch of countries that ain't white that he has to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we always say, oh, they're racist. So they're only racist to the black people in this country. Because when they go to Britain, when they go to all these African nations, which there's 54 fucking countries in Africa, all which have leaders, right? The Palestinians, the Israelis, the Russians, the Ukrainians, the Swedish, the Polish, right? Brazil, China, India,
The
Saudi
list goes on and
Arabia,
on.
right? So they're so racist. So that means, are we in fucking North Korea, where, well, most Americans do act like we're in North Korea. We don't know shit about the rest of the world. But are we in North Korea, where all we can consume is what goes on in our country? From this, obviously not, because 10:30 a.m. was like 4 a.m. In India. 4 a.m. here was like 10:30 a.m. in India, where these guys were. where they did this fireside chat. Right? I'm not even gonna watch it. I put it on my community tab if you want to watch it. I'm getting ready to wind down, but before I go, I need to let you know I'm going to do a series on types of investors because, and I'm gonna let you guys know exactly what it is right here. You got retail investors, which is most Americans, right? You've got accredited investors, which would be people like me who have their securities licensures, so on and so forth, or they meet the accredited investor test, right? Then you've got institutional investors, right? And in between there, you've got a couple other things like private investors, but private investors are usually institutional investors. But each one of those things is on a different level. So I don't give a fuck if Mickey Mouse was the president today. You all still had to go to fuck the work. Just remember that. And for the rest of this year and the next 4 years and the next 4 years after that, and maybe, just maybe, tomorrow, instead of us just gloating over Trump like a lot of dudes are going to be doing, we need to be looking at who's next in line.
Well, it's funny you say that because, me and Complex was talking yesterday. So I said, the funny thing about this is like, you got a lot of dudes in this space that, they're going to be gloating about it. But the question is now, okay, now that your man is in, now what's your plan? What's your plan now?
Oh, Trump won. He's good for the economy. How?
Like, I'm just saying, like, the whole point is like a lot of dudes, like they allegedly they got their mans in. So now that they mans is in, that means you should be ready to get to work. That means you got a plan to move forward. So what is it?
Dude, this nigga
And
on my Facebook said we won. I said, we who, nigga? We ain't win shit. Trump won. I said, as far as we didn't win shit. Didn't matter which politician got in office. We don't have super PACs. So we ain't gonna get shit. What's your plan? He responded, I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, just look at all the money that was doled out during this election. Did any of these, people have any pack set up so where they could get some of that money? Did they have any outlets or anything to where they could have captured some of that, those advertising dollars that was being spent out here? Because the thing about it is, especially based off of what happened with Joe Rogan's podcast with Trump and Vance going on there, traditional media is crumbling. They spent over, they spent a lot of money. I think in this election, just for her, I think over what?
This is like
Over a
like
billion?
4
Over a
billion.
billion?
Yeah, it was like $2 billion. It was like
Yeah.
2 to $4 billion.
So you spent a lot of money to take a L. Um, so moving forward, traditional media, Trump didn't even go sit down with CBS. I mean that's saying a lot. That he would rather sit with Joe Rogan than Leslie Stahl or any of these clowns over there. So traditional media is going to fall by the wayside slowly but surely. And people like Rogan and people like that, where people can really get a better feel for a candidate, where they can actually have a real conversation, not some conversation where people are just trying to constantly put words in your mouth and not actually really let you talk. Um, this is going to become more popular. So people, if you really want to be an influencer, then you need to be serious about how you go about this and put yourself in a position to where you can actually capture those types of people when they're looking for alternative forms of media outlets so they can get the word out, and you could be a part of that money that's going to be available like that because it's just a new day, and so you're going to have to adjust to the technology that's out there, and you need to be in a position to do that as a collective. And unfortunately, like I mean, for all intents and purposes, black men missed out on the dot com era. Like we was completely late to the party. You know what I'm saying? Because we had too many people that was constantly telling us how racist America was, instead of actually focusing on the skill sets that we needed. We have a guy in this country that is the richest black billionaire in this country named Ken Stewart. Most black people don't even know who he
Yeah,
is,
what
and
it
he's
is.
in tech, and that's a problem. We know more about Al Sharpton than we know about Ken Stewart, so
We know more
that's the
about
problem.
Jay-Z and Diddy.
Right, right, and that's the problem. That's the problem within itself. So if you want to be a me personally, I would rather see a politician come to a business forum that we have than a barbershop, because
Mm.
I would rather be taken seriously. And so if our institute, the only institution where you can have a political discussion with us is in the barbershop, we all should be embarrassed, because that's embarrassing. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And we have a rich history of us putting together things like the National Negro Business League, which was a business consortium, of being at the forefront, which was used to set up as a template to set up the U.S. Chamber of Commerce by Teddy Roosevelt. So we were the kind of men who inspired even men from other groups to set up things that was based on what we set up. So we have no excuse.
What you said is so true. And here's where we end up lagging behind. We'll be at the forefront and we'll get a goose egg of support from our own. I'll give you an example. You know how many years have I been online talking about I curse, I spit, I smoke, I listen to gangster rap, I don't keep a haircut, I'm the untraditional financial advisor. There's about 4 or 5 non-black guys who have now a substantially bigger following than me on TikTok, so on, who damn near stole everything that I say line for line. But guess what? They got support from their own. Their people were actually sharing them out. Their people were actually coming for consults to consults with them, not hitting them up like, "Hey, Zoe, I haven't forgotten about you. You know how many brothers you sent to me who have wasted your time and my time? It's a waste of your time. Like, I'm almost upset. Like, I want to come back and tell you, bro, don't even bother wasting your time telling these niggas. Because it shouldn't be weeks on end since we've spoken and I haven't heard peep, but I get a text, I haven't forgotten about you. I always tell brothers, listen, don't apologize to me. Apologize to your son. Apologize to your daughter. Apologize to your family, because the longer you take, it's going to cost you more for less. And you're the one saying that you want to leave generational wealth for your family. Do you think that motherfucker who told Dr. Talani that he wants to leave him $500,000 to set up something for his family in 300 years, waited 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then texted him and said, "Hey, Dr. Talani, I haven't forgotten about you"? Or do you think he said, "Hey, motherfucker, I got this in my head right now. I want to actually do something. Let me stop being a bitch ass nigga and jerking off on Pornhub and actually talk to you"? Or did he tell him, "Oh, I haven't forgotten about you"? Let's be honest. He definitely didn't tell him, "I haven't forgotten about you." He struck when the iron was hot. So now I'm upset for you because you're sitting here putting your neck out, yo, la da 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 da. And this ain't just one person. There's multiple people you've sent my way. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to drop it like that, but really, they're wasting your time now too. Because they're yeah, Rob, we gonna da 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 da. Yeah, Rob. I'm sure you've spoken to some of them since.
I've talked to people here, and I've been in this space for a long time, and I've seen a lot of dudes talk about, oh, black men don't help each other. No, that's bullshit. That's a cop
Bro,
out.
you're living proof of helping us. You don't get nothing from sending these brothers to me.
No, no, no. Your success is my reward because the more
But you
successful
still
you
send it.
become,
Yeah.
your success is my reward because ultimately, the more successful you become, the more successful I can become because we can do things on a certain level together. That's what it's about.
Mhm.
So, like, I'm not even, I don't even look at it like that. I've never charged anybody one dime for any bit of information in the space, um, any type of connections I brought to bear. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, they like this, many guys like to, in this space, like to sell that narrative. Oh, black men don't, we don't help each other. Like, no, we're not going to help you trick off.
Yeah.
We're not going to help you do that because that shit is weak. So no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to help you be an idiot and be a clown online because that shit is weak. Now, if you want to build something that's sustainable long term, then yeah, we with that. But this clownish shit, this buffoonish shit, you know what I'm saying? Where people get to make themselves into internet celebrities off a YouTube channel. Like, no,
Yeah.
no, because I'm not here for that. Because if that was the case, I could do that shit. That's not the purpose of why people like us came here. People like us came here, man, because we wanted to fortify a certain position that we want to have as men of our group. So, you know, I'd be the first one to say, like, if the serious men of any group are not taken serious, man, fuck that group. I don't
Yeah.
care who it is. Like, if
Yeah.
you're not going to take the serious men serious, man, fuck y'all. Like, straight up. That's where I'm at. I don't care. I don't care what you. I don't care. I don't care who died in your family. I don't care if you got the money to pay. I don't care because y'all don't care.
Yeah.
So that's just where I'm at with it. So you can take it or leave it. I don't care, but that's just where it is because y'all ain't serious. Because again, there's more than enough of information out here to grow, and you don't have to know everything. But damn, if you don't know, at least try to get yourself connected with the people who do know. And the fact that we have these mediums like YouTube and other places where we can actually connect and actually talk and actually get things done, there literally is no excuse. Marcus Garvey didn't have this. Booker T.
Mm.
Washington didn't have this, and they did more with less.
Yeah.
You think it was easy to communicate with black people as a collective back in 1900? Hell no, it was difficult. You didn't have all of this.
Shit, we
So now
barely
that you
had
have this,
telephones.
right? So again, either you taking life seriously or you're not. You know what I'm saying? But even clubs are starting to shut down and have been shutting down for quite some time because there's certain men who are like, this is a waste of time. This is a waste of time. I'm not trying to get shot over no dumb hoes. I don't got time for all that. Chicks is acting stupid. They broke as hell too. And that's why I used to say to people all the time, I'm like, why do I want to go to a club full of fake people who trying to front like they got money? Why don't you just
Mm.
get some money and just actually have money instead
Hmm.
of trying to act like you got it and you don't? And
I
so,
spent $400 on a bottle that I could have spent $40 on because it got sparklers and a naked chick carrying it. But listen, man, let me shut down. I gotta go run and do some errands. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna probably schedule that stream for some time later. I got some shit going on with Prudential tomorrow outside of the affiliation I made. Now Charles made an affiliation with Prudential. Prudential is targeting the black community now.
okay, okay.
So we'll talk about that. With that
All right,
being
text,
said,
text,
ladies and
text,
gentlemen,
text me when you go. Text me when you go about to go.
no doubt.
All
With
right.
that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.